Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Why does it take so long to see fitness results? I can totally relate to that frustration. I'm going to share some things I've learned along my journey. Stay tuned. Hey, my friend Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, The Power of Possibility, Passion, and Purpose. I get this question a lot. How fast will I see results? How fast will my fitness results come? Or why is it taking so long for me to see any results? I mean, I know that frustration totally. And, you know, while I'd just love to say, give you a number, everyone's not the same. And that's I think that leads to some of the frustration for people. And it leads to some of the things, the reasons why people give up when they're just on that very cusp to making a difference and turning a corner that can lead to the results that they're wanting to have. So I'm going to share with you at least 5 things, probably more, of what I've learned along the journey. And I know while everybody's not the same and we all go at different paces, and it's probably not the information that you want to hear. Whether it's just trying to firm up or get in shape for the summer or getting ready for the holidays, people want to see results quickly, right? And while there are some things you can do that can speed that up, how quickly you can honestly, we want to be realistic, how quickly you can honestly expect to see your, the eating right and the exercise paying off. It really boils down to what you want, and you're really wanting to actually be healthy about it, right? That's another thing. I know that some people go in and they do some real drastic things. And so I'm going to share some thoughts with you and things that I think that can help you along the way and help you break through some of those hurdles that if you've ever faced that barrier. Because first of all, I never thought I'd get out of shape. I vowed to stay fit, even though I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker. I know I wasn't healthy. I was drinking beer, pizza, 2-pack-a-day smoker, but I was in shape. I didn't exercise a lot, but I stayed in shape and I stayed active, etc. And what ended up happening to me, and this is in my 20s, what ended up happening to me, I'm talking with a guy. I was a big-time bowler, loved bowling. And one of the guys in the bowling league, I'm sitting there and we're having this conversation, and we were talking about beer guts or something like that. He was making a kind of a comment like, hey, settle down on that beer. One day you're going to get a beer gut, something like that. And I'm like, that's never going to happen to me. He's like, oh, yeah, it will. I'm like, no, it won't. Because I was of the mindset that there was no way it was going to happen to me. Fast forward into my 30s. I kind of got lazy, sitting down. Life changed a little bit. And sure enough, that beer gut came. And I got frustrated about it, and I thought I could do some things and kind of cheat and sneak little corners, and I don't know if that makes sense, but just I thought I could cut corners and do some things to at least stay active. Maybe I'm gonna join a volleyball league or something like that. But this once a week 45-minute volleyball league and then some beer drinking afterwards wasn't leading to anything either, and the beer gut kept coming. And there I was, age of 39, overworked, overwhelmed, definitely overweight. And I'm like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy was right. And I vowed that he would not be right. I promised myself that it wouldn't happen. There I was, facing reality, right? So I made a decision that I'm going to get in shape. And I wanted results fast. And when you make that decision, that's when life decides to throw in all the obstacles to challenge you to see how serious you are. So you're probably facing that too. If you're in a position where you're like, man, I'm just sick and tired of being tired, having no energy. I want to lose some weight. I want to get in shape. I want to feel better. I don't want to be achy. I don't want to be winded, that sort of thing. And you make that decision that you're going to get in shape. Just know that life is going to throw a bunch of obstacles in your way just to check to see how serious you are about that goal. So if you know that's going to happen, then you can just anticipate it. But if you're not ready for it, it can easily sidetrack you and have you quitting, leading to more years of weight gain, being more out of shape, being more grumpy, being more frustrated. So just know the obstacles are going to happen. And here's the downside. When some people want to take those quick fix sort of things, or in a perfect world, weight loss and getting fit would be instantaneous. But that's not how the human body works. Instead, everything from your mindset, your daily life, your hormones, your neurological system, emotions, they all have an impact on your nutrition and your exercise. And everybody's different. And if you try to change everything too quickly, let's say you're going to cut out certain food groups, or you're going to just drop down and only eat 1,200 calories, or you're going to go on this super crazy, harmful fast that you don't know is harmful, but it's going to be like the longest struggle. And all you're wanting to do is you can't wait till it's over so you can go back to the habits that were before. So you'll lose a bunch of weight, but then you're going to gain even more back. Or maybe you're going to dig deep in super hard into a 1 hour long boot camp class. A lot of times you might end up doing more harm than good and end up taking yourself out of the game. Don't get me wrong. Your body is going to resist something. When you make that change and you start committing, your body's going to reject a little bit against it. If it's exercise, it may become intensely sore. Exercise is going to make you sore. Just know. I've been exercising for many years. I still get sore. You just deal with it. But you need to be persistent and break through that initial smoke screen. It really is. That's what it is. A lot of times people see this obstacle, and it's really just a smoke screen that looks like something that's so impossible to overcome. But with a little persistence and consistency, you can break through to the other side and start making an impact. It's just getting through that perceived obstacle that you can't break through. I could have given up when I never saw the scale moving. All I knew was I was sore. I was unmotivated. I felt like having pizza and beer. Like I couldn't wait till this was over with, and the scale wasn't budging. But I saw what diabetes was doing to my family. I knew that I was on that road path. I was tired of my beer gut. I was I had to check myself because I was researching surgery that I knew was risky and expensive and potentially wasn't guaranteed. And I needed to tell myself, I needed to empower myself is what I needed to do, that I can do this on my own. I just needed to break through and keep moving forward no matter how slow it went. Slow progress is still progress. And before I ever saw the scale moving at all, I began to notice some other changes. I noticed that I was improving in my strength. I was improving in my energy. And I was gaining just little. I was getting messages of confidence that way. And if I would only relied on that, I might have just said, well, if I would have only relied on the scale, I would have given up. But these other changes were starting to happen, and that was evidence enough that I was making progress. And once I made that decision, I decided to follow a strategic plan. And I noticed my results came a lot faster than when I decided to follow my own plan. I was going to do it my own way. I was literally just winging it, and then I was literally coming up with excuses and reasons why they weren't working, and I was just hit and miss on my workouts, and then it became more miss than anything. So I approached it with a mindset of seeing what could I accomplish if I just started with 90 days. Now, I had to get past this mindset of at the end of 90 days, I can go back to old ways. I wanted to become somebody different at the end of 90 days, but I had no idea what was going to happen. I could have gotten to the end of those 90 days and nothing changed, and then had to do it. But I knew I would commit to the 90 days. And then once I got to those 90 days, something had to happen. And then I would adjust the sails accordingly and move forward with that momentum. So following a plan, I found a plan with a good rate. This was one that I knew would be a good rate of improving my health and fitness and my weight loss, as opposed to something drastic where it was going to be, hey, in the next 20 days, I'm going to lose 50 pounds or something like that. I wanted something that where I could keep making progress. I didn't take myself out of the game. Wasn't going to get to a place where I would ricochet backwards to old habits or old ways, or I got to a certain weight loss and then I gained all the weight back. I wanted to adopt the mindset to make it sustainable. And so that's the plan I followed. The eating plan I followed was very sensible and straightforward. I had to give up some things, yeah, and I'll tell you about those 5 things in a second. But I wanted a healthy lifestyle, and then I wanted something that I could sustain and then adjust as I went through the different seasons of life, because I knew, eventually I would get older, aches would creep in, things like that. So that's where it's gotten me to in life, where I love helping people figure out a plan that they can stick to and make it sustainable moving forward. Something where you can get results faster. And I like to help people that way so they can get faster results than it took me with all my guesswork and winging it. So here's a few things I learned along the way. And I do want to say this: losing about 1 to 2 pounds a week, even though maybe you have 50 to 100 pounds to lose, focusing on 1 to 2 pounds a week, that's a good goal, to shoot for. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But here's a great mindset hack: if you have a lot of weight to lose, instead of being overwhelmed by that number, just focus on the next 2 pounds. So make 2 pounds your goal. Okay, I'm just going to focus on the next 2 pounds. And don't worry about how long it's going to take. Just focus on losing the next 2 pounds. And keep going until, and I'm putting that in bold wording here, until you get to where you want to be. Adopt that mindset. Here's 5 tips that I embrace. Strength training as a priority versus your typical cardio. A lot of people just they'll get on the elliptical or get on a treadmill and they think that just the cardio is going to do it. And I applaud you runners and marathoners and stuff like that. But the strength training stuff for us people who don't run or just want to adopt just the cardio stuff, it's going to the muscle building stuff. In the muscle building stuff is going to rev up your metabolism to burn fat. I still do cardio. Yes, I still do that. I just don't do all cardio. Tip number 2 is, when possible, increase the intensity of your workouts and use a quality protein shake to build more muscle, burn fat, lose weight. When it comes to increasing the workout intensity, we can push ourselves harder than what we think. We let ourselves off the hook way too much. I can remember that resistance for me to bump up to the next level. I was hesitant. I was resistant. And the things I learned about myself when I took that step and that leap of faith was, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can do hard things. It's the mindset stuff that gets in the way. You've got to set aside and just trust yourself to take the next step. Next one is to eat to fuel your body. Many people get stuck on trying to calculate everything out and boiling down to numbers and stuff like that. I struggled with this for years. And while tracking can be very, very powerful, I'm saying when you start out, simplify things. I struggled with this for years and I really got burned out on the food math. Focus on food as fuel. Eat whole foods. Skip the processed stuff. You know what the processed stuff is. Eat mostly vegetables. Drink lots of water. Shoot for 1 gallon a day. I know that freaks some of you out. And eat more fiber. My next tip is to rest and recovery days are really, really important, at least once a week. A lot of times people, they get going on the exercise thing and they're like, I don't want to take any days off. It gets me off track. But it's important for your muscles to build and repair. That's when they do it. They do the building and repairing when they're in the rest and recovery stuff. That's why when people do a biceps workout, they don't do a biceps workout the very next day. They give themselves a break in between muscle groups. Do the same thing. Next tip I have for you is variety is the spice of life. Tony Horton gave me that little one. Mix up your routine every 6 to 12 weeks. Sometimes we just get in this little cycle of our little favorite things, and then we hit these plateaus, and then we get frustrated because we're busting along really hard, but it keeps us stuck. So keep the body guessing, and that will prevent the plateaus for you. So where are you at in your fitness journey? Do you want some accountability and support? I run a virtual fitness group that we hold each other accountable, we motivate and support each other, and people find that is like the secret sauce that keeps them engaged, consistent, and persistent. So if you're on this place where you've made the decision, you're starting to face those obstacles that I'm talking about, and you're wanting to get results and to speed them up instead of stopping, go head over to my website and register for my next group. It's at putyourselffirst.com/getresults. And you can join us, and we will help motivate you along the way. And if you want even more simple life hacks that can help you reach your goals, grab my free Success Habits Master List. It's packed with routines, rituals, tips, and strategies to move you from feeling chaotic and overwhelmed and working on that mindset stuff that I was talking about to where you're feeling grateful, happy, healthy, focused, and fulfilled. Absolutely free. You can go over to morningsuccesshabits.com. You are welcome, my friend. That's all I have for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I just appreciate you so much, and I appreciate you for sharing this with somebody that you know could have to get value from it. And if you can get over to your podcast app and give a honest rating and review, that will help this podcast reach more people. You absolutely rock, my friend, and as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.